Boy, here comes those memories again. Number 26, holding from 26 the previous week. Now, this didn't seem promising. I'm talking about the song by Def Leppard called Woman. I believe it's called Woman, or maybe it's called Women. I always forget these things sometimes. Hang on. Women, called Women by Def Leppard. A first single off of Hysteria. The first single. Climbed to number 80, that's it. But the song was mainly serviced for the album rock stations, or the stations that specialized in playing the heavy rock and roll tracks. I don't think it was meant to be a top 40 single, but that's going to change. Oh, that's going to change big time. Def Leppard, Hysteria, the first single off of the Hysteria album, although Women did not do well. Oh boy, I wrote it all down. After this, 6 singles. Top 20, top 10s for Def Leppard. On the horizon after Woman, Animal in late 1987, the fall of 87. Then Hysteria, which went to number 10. And the winter, early spring of 1988, Pour Some Sugar on Me went to number 2. In the summer of 1988, that was a big one for them. And then Love Bites right after that, late summer of 88, went to number 1 by Def Leppard. And then Armageddon It, fall of 1988, went to number, gosh, I can't even read my own handwriting. It's either number 3 or number 13. Either way, that song was a big hit. And then Rocket came out in early 1989, went to number 12. So you're talking about a medley of hit records from this album. Hysteria, from the fall of 1987 going into the spring of 1989. This was an immense album. Sold about 20 million copies around the world. Hysteria by Def Leppard, produced by Robert Mutt. Oh gosh, we're talking legends. Robert Mutt Lang, or in German I think it's Robert Mutt Lange. I'm just going to say Robert Mutt Lang just to keep it simple. Just try to keep it as simple as I can. This guy is a legend. You probably never heard of him, but oh boy, he's produced a lot of hard rock albums. He's worked with AC/DC. He produced their Highway to Hell album by AC/DC. He also produced Paramania by Def Leppard. He also produced Heartbeat? Yeah, it's Heartbeat City. I can't read my own handwriting. Heartbeat City by the Cars. He produced that. The songs that were off that album, you might think: Drive, 1984, produced by Robert Mutt Lang. He also produced Shania Twain's The Woman in Me. Ooh, she was all woman. She was even married. They were married for a time. Robert Mutt Lang and Shania Twain, he produced her stuff, and she co-produced it as well. One of the hits off that album of hers, The Woman in Me, Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under? Ooh, that's scandalous. I remember watching the video to that. I think it was on CMT back in 1995-96. Boy, that brings back some memories right there. But bottom line is Robert Mutt Lang produced it. So he's produced dance pop, he's produced hard rock. And Shania Twain, I mean, what can you say? He produced this Hysteria album. The album took a while. I'm not going to go into the history of the album, but it took a while for this album to come together. And finally, the final track, the final recording session took place in January of 1987, and they worked on the song Armageddon It. And then after that, Robert Mutt Lang spent about 3 months mixing the album. He wanted to get this thing down right, and boy, did he ever. He's the unsung hero behind this album. So when somebody asks you about Hysteria, the album Hysteria by Def Leppard, and somebody says, hey man, somebody comes up to you at a party and says, man, you remember that song Pour Some Sugar on Me? Yeah, man, I remember that song. Guess who produced it? I don't have any idea. Robert Mutt Lang, man, he married Shania Twain. Whoa, is that right? Might work. Def Leppard with just being silly. It's getting very late. I better stop while I'm still ahead. Def Leppard with Woman at number 26 on my fantasy playlist. August 29th, 1987.